Hello, you guys. Welcome back to another episode of Scars and Scriptures. Today we have Angel with us, and I'm so excited. This is my first time actually talking with her. I just started following her on Instagram. You guys, if you don't follow her, go ahead and give her a follow. What's your at?
So my Instagram is HS Queen 96 and my TikTok is HS Queen 96 as well.
Perfect. All right. So we're just going to jump right in. So I'm going to have you introduce yourself, tell us where you're from, and what brings you joy outside of HS and outside of advocating.
Okay. So hi, my name is Angel. I do have HS and I am from originally from California. I grew up in West Covina. All that. West Covina Ballpark, all that. And honestly, like my kids. 100%. It's my
Love
kids.
it. And that's so great. This was not even the one of the questions I had thought of, but talking about kids, I remember one time I showed a video with my niece who got diagnosed with HS, and I was talking about like how I'm going to help her with stuff because now I know and things that I've learned and stuff that I wish I
Right.
would have known. And I remember one of the people in the comments said, why would you have children if you knew you could have that, you could pass that on to them?
Right.
Like, and I was like mortified. And then I
Right.
posted a question to the community, and so many people were conflicted or, feared having children or didn't want to have children because of the HS. Is that something that you went through?
Um no, because
I love that for you. No.
no, because I would say since I started my TikTok is when I started learning about HS more because I started like getting flares at the age of like 13. Mind you, from the age of 13, I am 37 now. I was in the dark about all this. I had no idea. I didn't know like where it started from. I didn't know it could pass down. I didn't know none of this. So did it dent my like oh, don't have no, absolutely not. I have 5 kids, girl. I think the last like 2 is when I was like, oh, my kids could get it, because I was learning all this stuff. Yeah.
Do you think if you would have known that earlier, you would have been hesitant?
No.
No, I love that. Like, because I feel like I hate that for the community that they feel like they can't have children or their, life should be, void of this family structure if that's what they want. You could be a family
Right.
by yourself or with your spouse, but if you want kids and you feel like you can't have them because you have HS and they may or may not get it, like it's a hard thing, and it sucks that people kind of limit themselves because you can have a family and have
Yeah.
HS, and your kids
I
not have
I would
it, or they
say
have it and
do
you teach.
it. Do it, have those kids because we struggle enough and we have so much depression, anxiety, and all that with our condition. It's a very low energy condition, and like your kids will just lift you up. Like they're just innocent. It's innocent love.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, and I love that. So when did you first? You said at 13, I think. That's when you first realizing that there was something different going on with your skin. How
Yes.
long did it take you for you to get diagnosed?
Um, it was 4 years ago, so I barely.
Oh, not a long time.
Yes, girl. I was always told like it's an yeast infection on your skin. You have sensitive skin. It's a skin contact. You need to be careful what you're putting on your body. Like at the age of 13, I wasn't wearing underwear because it might have been the cotton underwear. I wasn't wearing the nice bras because it might have been the wires in the bras. Like it was always something else.
Everything you got
Yeah.
told everything.
Yeah.
Mine was a little bit different. So I started getting flares at like 11. I got diagnosed at 12. So I got diagnosed pretty young. But
Wow.
similar to you, though, I didn't know anyone else with HS
Mhm.
virtually in real life or anything until I was 28 on TikTok. And I was like, yo, her skin looks like mine. And then she said, I have hydrogen sensitivity. I was like, hold up. Other people out here like me? because
Right.
I really thought I was alone in this world dealing with this condition. Because like, no, it's not something that anyone talks about. It's not something we ever really heard about growing up back in our day. Now you hear about it all the time, but like, 20 something years ago, it was nothing. It was, little dirty little secret, you don't tell anybody about. And then you kind of find out
Exactly.
so many people had it the whole time, and I'm like, y'all stress me.
Right. And then, like, had my mom said something when I was getting all these random breakouts, I would have caught it sooner. But then I think
Mhm.
about it too, like, were the doctors educated back then too? You know what I mean?
Nope.
No. So they probably would have just misdiagnosed me anyways. But my mom has it.
Oh, see, and there's studies and stuff that the genetic link to it, and so increases your chance of having it. But again, like there's so many people in our families that probably had it, and they just kind of wrote, "Oh, it's ringworm," or "It's just a boil," and like they just wrote it off. And now
Yeah.
it's like, "Oh, I've been dealing with that my whole life," and it's like, well,
Right.
I'm glad we can heal together now.
And it's like the older people, like, that era, it was very hush hush too. Like, we don't
Mhm.
talk about that. We don't. If you weren't there to see it, it's none of your business. That's literally my family.
Yeah, no, I totally get that, and it's hard because then now you have to be the first generation to like open up about it,
Right.
and kind of advocate for yourself and be able to advocate for the rest of your family and teach them like, hey, this is what you should do, what you shouldn't be doing. But going back to the doctors not being educated, like studies show that most people go 7 years being misdiagnosed before they actually get a diagnosis. Like I said, I was luckier because I got diagnosed after a year, but still that first year was hell with the doctors. Like, you're overweight, you don't take baths, and I'm like, no. And then of course, I got the whole "you're a hypochondriac," like there's nothing wrong with you. I'm like,
What?
nope, that's not true either. I can tell you I'm in pain. Stuff is,
Right.
things are happening, and so I eventually ended up going to a doctor, a blood specialist, because he thought something was wrong with my blood and my blood needed to be cleaned. And so at the blood specialist, he was like, "There's nothing wrong with you. You have hidradenitis suppurativa," and just kind of like walked out. And I was like, "Cool." That was
Well, at
like,
least he
well,
knew.
yeah. I was like, "Cool." I don't know what to do with that, but now I know.
Right.
Now I
Yeah.
know.
That.
And I mean, that's part of the journey, is just figuring it out. Like, what is it? How do I can't really explain something that I don't know what it is.
So my mom is still undiagnosed because I told her she needs to switch her doctors. She needs to get to a dermatologist. Like, I already told her which way she needs to go because her doctors keep testing her for an STD.
My eyes
Yeah.
just glaze over. Like, so, and I know not all doctors are bad.
Right.
And I'll say this every time on these episodes because I'm jaded, and it's gonna come off that like I don't like doctors. I know they're not all like that, but it's so irritating that so many of them don't listen to the patient or
Yeah.
to the person. Like, they just, I know it's not a sexually transmitted. No, 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 no. Oh, I know something's going on with me. No, no, no. Like, they just like, listen to me.
Right.
Don't just look at me and assume, oh, you're overweight. Like, run some tests. Don't look at me and assume, oh, you must be out there, sleeping
Right.
around. Like, what?
I know.
STD?
Yeah, I know. So like
That would piss me off.
my son, I don't know if you follow my TikTok, but my
Mhm.
son just had a breakout. And I took him to his doctor, and she was like, "Oh, that's just his hygiene. He needs to shower more." And girl, you don't know how mad I got. Like, I'm not even going to say what I said, okay? Cuz that just triggered me so bad because it's like that's all I was told. And
Mhm.
all I had was spots, little random spots like that. You know what I mean? And I was just like, and then she wouldn't give me the referral to get him to the dermatologist because she knew what she was talking about. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I of course I went out my way and I found him a dermatologist that didn't need a referral, and he has his appointment coming Tuesday. But I was just so, I was like, I'm not trying to bash, but it's like, you're a doctor, stay in your lane. He
Right.
needs a dermatologist.
Right. And like, don't be afraid, doctors, if you watch this, don't be afraid to listen to someone else, to go outside of like, oh, I don't know, let me talk with someone. Like, it's okay to say you don't know, and you'll get back
Right.
to them. And I
Yeah.
feel like sometimes they feel like they have to have an answer, and even if the answer just doesn't make sense, I'm just going to say something, and then puts it back on you.
Mhm.
Somehow it's your fault. Oh, you're not cleaning well. You're not doing something, and it's like,
Right.
no. And the last thing I need to hear is that somehow this condition and the pain that I'm in is because it's my fault.
Right.
I would definitely say, if you haven't already, look for a different doctor, just because like
Yeah.
you gotta they have to listen. And if you have a doctor who refuses to run tests or refuses to listen to you and really treat you as a whole person, then you gotta find someone else who will. Because I've met a lot of great doctors, surgeons, dermatologists who study and research HS specifically. And so that's why I say I may sound jaded just because of my experience, but I've met other ones I haven't personally
Yeah.
worked with, but I've met them,
Right.
who are amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Definitely looking for another doctor because that just triggered me. And that he's a little on the heavier side too.
Mhm. I'm surprised the first thing is, oh, it's the weight. Like it means
Right.
if there's people who are underweight or athletic who get it, but if you're overweight, there is literally nothing else they're gonna do. They're gonna just look at you and say it's the weight.
Yeah, which is not true.
No test, no nothing. It's the weight.
Yeah. Yeah, that is not true.
So 5 kids. Obviously, you found love, but question: how has HS affected you emotionally, like your relationships?
um it's very difficult. I'm not going to sit here and lie and gaslight. It's very up and down. We do like I'm my sex drive is not there no more because of my breakouts and stuff. I've been with my husband like 8 years, okay? But I'm very still insecure with my wounds and like where they're at in my areas. And I always like that's been a big problem is I'm always like, no, 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 and like we literally just had this fight or whatever yesterday because he basically was like, I see them. I know what they are. I like basically like I don't care. Like I want to love my wife and you need to allow me to love you. And it's challenging for anybody. I don't think there's one of us warriors walking around like I got this in the bag because no, we don't.
Yeah,
It's very hard.
it's a battle. Like I'm like very confident. People are always online. They're like, I wish I could be as confident. I'm very confident, but still I have to talk myself up. Like there's still like I'll have the flash in my mind of like, oh, I don't want to raise my arm, or oh, is anyone looking, or oh, I don't want someone to see this. And then I'm like having to like, okay, Crystal, walk. Like it's not just like innately like
Right.
confidence. Like I have to work towards it every day to feel comfortable in my own skin. And it's definitely gotten a lot better, but it isn't just something that like you just wake up and you're like out on top of the world,
Yeah, like,
feeling.
oh hey. Like, yeah, it's not easy. It's not. Like I was just at the water park with my kids and my bun hat fell down and I was in my bathing suit and I had to like fix my bun, but there was like a lot of people there and I didn't want to raise my hand to like fix
Mm,
and I literally had to like walk off and I just felt like I guess like kind of shameful and like mad at myself because it's like why are you doing all that extra, you know what I mean? Like just it's what we have, like and I'm over
yeah,
here
it's
still trying to
definitely
hide.
conditioning though. Like it's going to take a lot of conditioning. That's one of the things that we do here on Scars and Scriptures. Like we sit down with mental health counselors so we can kind of talk through the trauma and the identity issues. Like I feel like we all go through a bit of an identity issue.
Right.
Um, of like this whole outer body experience, or like, the trauma of what you've felt, in the past, or what people have said. And so now it just kind of replays in your head, and you don't allow yourself to just be. And so
Yeah.
I think mental health is definitely a huge part of because even if you stop getting flares, that trauma is still there.
Right.
I'm still, afraid, or I'm still feeling like I'm not gonna find anyone because of the HS or because of the scars, even though I might not be flaring anymore. Like, it is very difficult. Like, I didn't start dating until I was 31, because I was
Wow.
like, I don't think I'm ever gonna find love, and I'm okay with that. I'd much rather be by myself than be rejected, because rejection sucks.
Yeah.
Um, and so I just was like, nah, I'm good on it. But like, and then I met a bunch of warriors who were married, like yourself, and I was like, oh, so it's possible to find someone who will accept me and love me. And
Yeah.
one of the biggest things I say to warriors is that you got to learn to accept yourself first. It's really hard, even if someone wants to accept you, for you to allow them to accept you and to love you, if you don't see yourself as beautiful, love yourself, because you're going to constantly project of, they don't really love me, or, oh my goodness,
Right.
this is disgusting. Like, these are the thoughts that are in your head that probably don't even belong to you. They belong to someone else, but they're in your head because that's what you heard. And now you're
Right.
projecting it on the person who's trying to love you. And so,
Yeah.
like, definitely have to, the conversation you have with your husband is like, the mental, again, is that whole mental thing that we have to go through.
Yes, for sure, for sure. Thank God in my situation, when I started, like, of course, at the 13, like, I was getting random flares, and then I wouldn't flare, and then I would get a random one and I flare. When it started flaring really bad is when I got pregnant with Charlie, which is my 4-year-old. And I started flaring under my breasts and under my armpits. Thank God, like, when that was happening, my husband was learning with me. Like, so that's when they were like, oh yeah, it's HS. And so he was there with me, and I was like, what is that? Like, and he's like, I don't know. Like, so we kind of went through it together, and then obviously it just got in worse and worse and worse. But I think had it been the other way around and I had found out like before him, I probably wouldn't probably be with him.
Oh man, well, I'm glad that everything happens for a reason, a time
Yeah.
and season, because sometimes we get in our own way. We get in our
Yeah.
own head and get in our own way. So, but it's definitely great to have somebody who can support you through that and is willing to
Right.
support you through that, because one of the things, everybody's not for everybody. And that's in any situation. And I think that's kind of the mentality I've grown to have, is not everyone's going to want me. I don't want everyone. And so, like, and that's okay. And that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yes, it is.
So, question, like, dealing with, shame or the anxiety that comes with having HS, how do you deal with it, or what are some coping mechanisms that you found?
I just cry, honestly.
Oh, you know what? A good cry is all, kind of like washes the soul and just cleanses everything.
That's 100% what I do. Like, I'm just gonna keep it real. Um, I usually get up in my bed and I'll cry. Like, if my husband's here, if I'm alone and I'm with my kids, I'll just be like, I'm gonna take a shower, and then I go in the shower and I cry.
I mean, and I'm sure many warriors probably do that. There's nothing else. What else can I do other than just kind of mourn? And I feel that, like, kind of mourn the person I could have been, or I thought I would have been.
Yeah.
And it's a sad situation, to be in. Again, I think it has a lot to do with the feelings and stuff from younger years. Okay. All good. Yeah, I was like, I don't know what happened either. You are good. This is and it's funny. I started seeing a therapist 2 weeks ago, and I told her when I talk about certain aspects of having HS, I was like, I don't want to cry. Like, I want to be in a place where it doesn't make me cry. And so that's something that I'm working on, because sometimes like I'll talk about it and I'll be fine, but then I'll get to certain aspects of like really how it made me feel, and then like the waterworks of like I just like and I was like, I don't know. And I'm trying to I'm talking to myself. I'm like, is it that it's unresolved? Like, 'cause I want to, I feel like it may be resolved. I don't understand. Yeah. So listen, feel free to cry. Like, I think we all do that. And I don't know, a warrior, if they're being honest, that, sometimes they don't you just cry. Like, got to get it out.
Yeah, I just feel like in my case, like I've dealt with a lot, like of rough upcoming, just like, and I just feel like things are always just being thrown at me. And as far as like, the cancer, I had stage 2 cancer. I've had 3 surgeries because of it, and it's like I deal with a lot of stuff, as far as like DV too. Like I got out of that relationship and now I'm here. And I just feel like life has just been really hard. And then like to get this condition and oh, there's no cure for it. And like I guess I accepted that, and I pray that one day there is answers and we get the help that we need. But like I feel like with this condition it's very lonely.
No, hey, you gonna make me cry. You're gonna make me cry. Because that's literally the one thing that always brings it out of me, is that it is incredibly isolating.
Yeah.
Feeling like no one understands. Like, for me, I couldn't really talk to it about, with my family, because they didn't really understand it. And I never wanted to be a burden on anyone. And it felt like I was a burden when I talked about it, and there was nothing that it could do to help me. And so like I would just kind of keep it to myself, and I'd be by myself. And I remember my sister's friend was like, he thought like, he's like, is your sister like special needs or something? Like, because I didn't talk. I just stayed to myself, because like I didn't want to be around anyone. And one, I was in pain, and like my HS growing up had an awful smell. Like, it literally smelled like death.
Yeah.
Because my skin didn't heal, and it just smelled bad. And so I didn't want
Right.
to be around people because of that. And I remember the instance where I was at a friend's house, and where I did allow myself to like go out, and her mom was like, don't invite her back to this house because she stinks. And I just kind of like, okay. Like, she was talking to my friend, but I of course I overheard it, and so I just kind of left. But like, it was for so many years I felt like I was alone. There was nobody I could talk to. No one really understood it. And then on top of that, like, relationships, I was like, it's never going to happen, because who wants to be with someone like me? And so I say that like it's one of the biggest things is for me was the smell, and then the isolation, which was part of the smell. Like, I didn't want to be around people, and again, be offensive with my odor, or with my issues. And so I just kind of like sunk within myself, and it still is hard. Now I'm able to kind of share my journey, and it is honestly therapy for me to be able to get on and talk to people about HS and how hard it was, and maybe hope to help someone else get further along a little bit quicker than I did. What started at 11, didn't really me see someone until 28, didn't start posting until like 29. Of like, so many of my friends were like, I didn't even know there was something going on with you. And I was like, yeah, you weren't supposed to know. If you did know, like, I would have been mortified. But no, I agree with you. It's heartbreaking how isolating it is.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like so excited that more warriors are telling their story, because it really does do something, at least for me, when I see someone else's story and I hear their triumph, and I'm like, you know what, I can keep going. I can keep doing this.
Right. Yeah, it is very lonely. And as I started flaring more and it started looking more ugly, I guess, was when I started pulling away from everybody. Like I didn't want to hang out with nobody, no friends, no family. I didn't want to go to gatherings because of it. Like I was really like ashamed. And because of my platform, I still get embarrassed, but I know that like I was in the dark so long that if I could save one person or help one person, then it makes me feel good, like and I love the community that I built. And as far as texting me, calling me, like I lose my crap on TikTok all the time. Like I'll be crying, like it's very hard, and people need to see like it's not all nice and I look pretty and look at me. No, like we struggle, we cry, we're alone, we feel alone. Like it's tough, it's really tough, and like people don't understand it unless you have it, you know what I mean? My
Yeah,
husband doesn't get it, and he tries. Like I know, and it's like I don't want to be rude, but I'm like, you don't know, like you don't know what I'm in pain every day, 24/7. I'm itching 24/7. I'm draining 24. You don't know, and it's like,
that's definitely the hard part because and that's the thing. I say people can empathize and what is it empathize with you, or have or have sympathy, but like I can feel most people it's the sympathy, right? They feel bad for us, they feel sorry, but they can't really empathize because they don't truly know what it's like to like live in the skin we're in.
right,
Like you don't get the fatigue. Sometimes it's not I'm not lazy, I'm just tired. My body is constantly
right,
moving. Um it's not that, I don't want to be intimate with you. It's I'm hurting or I'm draining and I don't feel attractive. You can say that I'm attractive, but I don't feel it. And if I don't feel it, things aren't gonna happen. Right.
exactly,
And so it's kind of getting over that hurdle of like, I get what you see, but this is what I'm actually dealing with.
yeah. And like you said, we feel like burdens. I do. Like I went from being like a single mom to working like overtime, like just doing it by myself, paying like 1,500 for a little one bedroom, like my car payment, like working hard to I can't work no more. And I grew up very like tough, so I'm very like hard, like very prideful, I guess, where I'm like, no, I could do it. Like I don't need nobody to help me. I don't ask for help from nobody. And I had to sit down and tell my husband, I don't think I could work anymore.
Thing. And that's so many warriors. I actually have someone that's going to be on, and we talk about HR and being able to work and like policy and like being able to advocate for yourself at work. But like so many warriors, either because of pain or because they miss too many days, it's hard for them to keep a job. Like they keep having to find something else because there's not enough medical time, or the job is like, why are you requesting time off? And they don't really get, oh, you got a bump on your skin, like
Right.
so much more than that. Is it more than a bump on my skin? I promise you, it's not just acne and I don't want to come to work.
Right. Yeah. No, like they like I went from dental, I was a dental assistant, but because I developed that lump in here, they said it was because of possibly the x-rays that I was doing. So I left dental and I went to caregiving, which I did for like 8 years. But I couldn't lift nobody no more because of my arms, like, and it's like I couldn't take care of them, so I had to stop and take care of me now. But it was tough. I literally had to throw all this on my bills and everything on my husband, and then top of that, like I have kids from my previous husband, and now you got to take care of all my kids. It was tough, and that's why I decided to do the platform. And I was like, well, if I could get paid through TikTok by sharing this, yes, it's embarrassing. Yes, nobody knew about it. When I say nobody knew, me telling my story on TikTok was telling my family and my friends.
Yeah, no, I get that. I get flares under my boobs, arms. I get them a lot of places. But when on my TikTok, my sister messaged me. She called me afterwards. She's like, I didn't realize you got them under your boobs too, because my family only knew about my arms. And I was like, yeah, I get them a lot of places. She's like, I didn't know that. Like, it's just, well, again, it's not something I really advertise other than on TikTok now, because I don't know about you, but TikTok is so freeing for me more than any other platform. Like, I get on TikTok and I'm like, all right, y'all, here we go. This is what it
Yeah.
is. And then
Yeah.
like my family and friends and my boyfriend, people are like, what? That what? And I'm like, I don't know. I just feel so comfortable with my people on TikTok.
Yeah, I do much better on TikTok than I do Instagram, honestly. Like TikTok's the platform for me.
Definitely. I feel like Instagram is this aesthetic. And if you have a chronic illness, that's a skin condition that is unsightly for most people, TikTok or Instagram is like not going to be very friendly to you.
Yes.
Whereas I feel
Yes.
like TikTok is like just real world, real people just, you know,
Yes.
filming as they go in their car. It's not something that's like, oh, this is beautifully curated to look perfect. Because
Right,
if
right.
we're going for perfect, me and my chronic skin condition,
We don't
it's not
matter.
gonna be
Yeah, we don't matter there.
so so what's something you wish more people would have understood about HS, or that they do understand about HS?
Um, if they, I would say for people like people without it, right? Okay.
Right.
I would
Yeah.
I would I would just be like not even so much the condition. I think it's like understand the mental health too that we deal with. I think that's a big thing. Like that's really big, honestly. Like I mean, I get it, we're in pain and we deal with all this, but let's be real, me and you, we know how to deal with this, but let's like we struggle with this.
Yeah. It's and that's one of the things I've said. Like the pain I can, I deal with because I have to manage it. It's the things that you don't see, right?
Yes.
It's the smell things, that something that I can't just hide. It's the mental, even the mental aspect I can like pretend, but I can't pretend within my own self, right? And so I'm like,
Exactly.
I'm sad and I'm depressed, and then people eventually will see that and like, oh, why are you so sad? And you're throwing yourself a pity party, and it's like you just, again, you can't really explain it unless you live with it, to
Exactly.
understand why I'm sad, or like why just sometimes I cry and I just don't know why.
Right.
Sometimes like I'm not flaring, there's no rhyme or reason. I'm just really sad.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yes.
But no, definitely, I think that's a big thing, and I don't think that's something even within warriors that is talked about a lot. Of like most people, it's like, oh, I want them to know this about the condition or this, but like the mental health aspect of it, of like I'm dealing with a lot, and maybe be a little bit kinder to me. So many people in the comments and even in our real lives, like, oh, why do you eat like that, or just constantly questioning you and like kind of berating, and it's like you don't realize the mental
Oh
toll
yeah.
that I have every single day. I really don't need that.
When I first started my platform, oh my
The
god. You
trolls.
don't know my girl, my TikTok, like when I tell you I was like crying almost every day because the mean stuff they would say. It was so bad. I was like, I don't think I'm going to do this. I'm not doing this. But
Oh, I
then
get
like you
it.
should have seen how these warriors jumped in like, you're not doing that.
They shut it down quick, and I love that
Yes.
for us.
Yes, when we stick together, let me tell you. And it's
No,
not to be mean or malicious too. They're like, let me educate you.
yeah, yeah. Let me get you all together.
Yes.
No, I've definitely noticed that a lot. Like again, definitely the good comments always outweigh the bad. There's always more good and people saying nice things, or trying to give helpful, probably not so helpful advice. But coming from a good place, then there is negative. But like the negative stuff, it stings, right? It just kind of, it's what you replay in your head. At least for me, like I don't replay like, oh, the positive. That negative comment is like edged in there. And so I think it's very, I try to be very real with people, especially if they're going down the road of advocating and posting of, for me, it's therapy. It's freeing. I love it. Wouldn't go back,
Yeah.
but there are going to be trolls. There are going to be mean people out there. For the most part, people, there are going to be a lot more nicer people, but I don't want to ever give someone it's going to be like sunshine and rainbows, or you're going to get people who are mean
Very
because
mean.
life has been mean to them, or crabs in a barrel, have no clue what's going on with them. And so I gotta try not to focus on them. I used to be one of those people. I'm gonna clap back.
Yeah, that was me too.
I'm gonna clap back quick. I'll be in the comments just arguing with people. My sister's like, why are you always arguing with people on the internet? Because they're not gonna talk to me any kind of way. Like, that's just not gonna happen. You're not gonna come to my page and disrespect me. That's what we're not gonna do ever.
Yeah.
And so, but the Lord has been working on me. He's like, Crystal, you are called to be a disciple. You can't be in here, running people down and posting about Jesus the next day. Like, we gotta get together. And I was like, you're right. I'm not gonna argue with them. And then, but the other warriors show up, and I'm like, that's right. You get them.
Yeah, girl, I pay no attention to the bad comments no more. I don't even block them. I don't even delete them. I'm just like, whatever. Like, I'll pray for you. Like, okay, something's wrong. You're hurt. Hurt people. And I just, like, I pay no attention to them no more. I don't even respond, reply, nothing no more.
That's what I stopped doing. It's been so freeing to, like, not feel like I needed to respond or that I needed to educate people. And sometimes it's good to educate people, but, like, don't feel like you need to do it. Like,
Yeah.
if somebody really wanted to know, Google's free. It's really
easy. Hit a hashtag. They're all there.
Like, and so don't feel like you have to go out your way and spend all your energy trying to educate people who really don't care to be educated, because
right,
they wanted to, they would. They'd figure it out.
Exactly.
But no, it took me some time. It took me a couple years to get there, because I used to listen.
It's okay. I did it too.
We're gonna go back and forth. But no, that is great. I'm glad we're on the same page now. So, and I you mentioned pray for them. So I do have a question. So I mean, everybody's at a different place, but how has faith ever really played a role in your coping or healing?
Yes, of course. Of course, being diagnosed with this, I'm not gonna lie, I did lose faith, because I was like, why would, like, God allow this to happen to me, And I kind of lost my way a little bit. I was just really mad, upset, But like I said, a lot of crying in the shower, and obviously you're in there alone, and who you gonna turn to, So slowly but surely, I just start talking to him again, and like, just about my day, and like, my best friend, I'm gonna tell you this and that, and it does help. Yeah, of course you're gonna cry, and of course you're gonna, why, but at the end of that shower, I promise you, you feel so much better, like that, for me, that I have that source, like, it has helped me a lot. I'm not gonna lie, it has helped me a lot.
I agree with you. Honestly, are we the same person? Because so much of our story is the same. But I the same way, right? I got diagnosed, and I fell out with the Lord. We were beefing hard. And I was just like, I don't believe in God. Because in my mind, that's how I was going to get back at him. I don't believe in you no more. Right. Because, like, what kind of a good father would allow this to happen, right? Like,
right.
Especially to a child. Like,
right.
And so I was just very upset for so many years. And then eventually, I like you, I found my way back to the Lord. And it has made all the difference for me in my healing. I recall the scripture, right? I'm sure, and I tell people all the time, I felt like a leper. I get these boil-like abscess, and I feel like I'm bleeding from everywhere, and people are constantly like, "Oh, unclean! You're contagious! Get away!" Like, I felt like the lepers of in the Bible, and then I would get irritated because I'd read about these healings, and I'm like, "Cool, everybody get healed but me." And the scripture though of like the leper, and the difference with being healed and being made whole. And it's important. Like, I want to be healed, but for me, being made whole, and part of that being made whole was in the Lord. And it gave me the strength to endure so much more and not let it weigh me down or just I just feel like there's less of a burden on me now that I
Right.
like have gotten back with the Lord, and just kind of, I still have the flares. I still have a condition that has no cure, but it
Right.
has made it better for me. And
Right.
and I don't know ways to like to explain that to someone if they're, if they're outside of faith, but like it just has made it easier for me.
I get it.
It's like having HS, right? I can't really explain it if you haven't dealt with it. I can't really explain how the like praying and faith has helped me. It has. It's just something you really have to experience.
Right. And like you are a woman of faith, and you just pray over everything that you need help with. And that's what I tell him all the time. Just work me, open doors for me that need to be open, shut doors for me that don't have a purpose for me. And girl, let me tell you, all this stuff comes to me in the shower. Like it'll just hit me like you need to do this. You need to post this. Like it's so crazy like how it hits me. Like I
I
can't
love
explain that
that.
one either.
Listen, there's a purpose. There's, what is it? The Lord will turn pain into purpose. What the devil meant for evil, the Lord will
Right.
make for good. That like this obviously is not something we'd wish to have, or we'd wish for anybody to have. But then being able to turn around and help so many people, to help with their health, their mental health, to help them to navigate just their life and being a spokesperson, and then allowing our testimonies to shine bright,
Yeah.
for it's it's like, wow, okay. I know my purpose now. I know what I'm supposed to be doing now. And which
Exactly.
feels good. Honestly, it feels good once you realize, like, okay, this is my purpose. This is why I have this, so that I can, you know, be a light on the hill or something. Um,
Right.
what's something? Let's see. Let's look at. Do you have any self care products or rituals that you do? I feel like every warrior has like their routine.
I feel like it does switch a lot because I don't know what it is with my skin. Like once I start using a product too much, my skin starts like rejecting it. It's so
Mm,
weird. Like I like the witch hazel. I can't use that no more because it's like my skin started to smell like bad. But my routine does switch a lot. It's right now it's very simple. It's like the BP wash the dermatologist gives you. I always use that. I don't change that. I use the pistachio brand. I don't know if you guys know her or follow her, but she is on Instagram and she is on TikTok now. Her
oh yeah, I got some in the bathroom.
okay. I like her stuff too. I use a lot of like I'll clean with alcohol, I'll clean with peroxide just because right now, like I said, the original stuff that I was using, my skin's kind of rejecting it, so I'll just change my ways of doing it. I do use Head and Shoulder in the shower after I use my BP wash, and I use the dry method, which is I gauze up all throughout the areas to keep it like dry because I feel like the draining is what breaks me out more.
Mm, no, that makes sense. Um, but definitely something that I do, I'll put like cream or something on gauze, and then like I let it like I sit there, or like I use like a lot of antibacterial wash and soap. Like, of course, I think everybody knows HIPAA,
Right.
or like the orange dial soap, or different things like that, to
Right.
antibacterial, whatever you want to use to clean my skin. And then I'm a whatever ointment, something like that, if I have a current flare. But I think that's like one of the big things too. For
Right.
me, diet, not diet like as in lose weight, but like diet, like the foods that I eat, and changing the skincare products have made like the world of difference. Because when I go to a hotel and I don't bring my own body wash and soap or stuff, and I use the stuff at the hotel, I am guaranteed to flare. Don't know what
Yeah.
they put in that stuff, but my body's like, no,
Yes, it's so
no.
crazy how sensitive our skins are, like because of the HS. It's so crazy.
Yeah. It's annoying because I'm a bad packer, and I always, oh, dang it, that's what I always forget. You think I remember because I'm in pain when I don't, but I'm like, oh, snap.
Yeah, no, I totally get that.
Oh man. All right. We'll see a question or two more. I want to take your
Okay.
whole night. Um, let's see. Okay, where do you find hope, or how do you keep your faith when you feel like your body is fighting against you?
Honestly, like that's hard. That's a hard question. I'm not gonna lie. That is a hard question because our bodies fight us every day, every minute of the day, and like I said, we get very low with ourselves. But my faith goes straight to the Bible. Honestly, like I'll just randomly open a page too, and if that's what I need to read, that's what I'm reading. And like I said, just a little scripture will go a long way with you because you're like, oh man, that fit with me. Like, like I can relate
Yeah.
to that. So I
Gives
guess
you a
that
little
kind of
extra pump.
yeah, exactly. Because you kind of just feel like you have this like I guess blanket of love on you, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because we feel so like lonely and empty at the same time, and it's just I don't know. I just find it in my faith, honestly.
No, definitely. I love that. Something that one of the ladies who's a doctor in functional health that I interviewed, she said, and I really loved it, is that, I asked her a similar question, like, what would you tell someone who feels like their body is betraying them? And she's like, I would tell them, your body isn't betraying you. It's doing what it thinks it needs to do to protect you. And so, like, the inflammation, things that are going on in your body, it's like, okay, something's going on in here. I need to do this, or I need to do that, but it's doing something that it thinks it needs to protect you. And when she said that, I was like, yeah, it's like your body is kind of screaming out in the only way that it can of, there's something going on with me internally. I don't know how any other way to let you know other than, your skin. I have to give you something outward to show you that there's something going on inside. And so whether, for me, again, changing kind of what I eat or the products that I use made a big difference. And it was like, okay, my body's yelling at me when I don't do certain things, or when I do certain things, to like, hey, I don't like that. you
Right.
know, Kind of like, help me, help you, help,
Right. Right.
let's work together.
Yeah.
Um, but
I
I
don't
guess,
have a food trigger, so like
bless you.
when I hear people say like, "Oh, tomatoes flare," like I'm just like, "What?" Like I said, I don't understand this condition. I am learning as you're learning, as everybody else is learning. We learn something new every day. Like I don't know if you follow Christina on TikTok.
Mhm.
She's always posting, and I'm like, "What?" Like I didn't know that. I just had a doctor's appointment with the rheumatologist, and he was explaining it to me, and I was like, so is our body like overworking, or is it attacking us? Like I don't understand it, right? He was trying to break it down to me, and I'm like, so it's
Yeah.
overworking? Like I don't
Yeah,
get
it's,
it.
it's overworking. So it's an overactive immune system that causes the autoinflammatory response with the hair follicles and stuff like that. But it's because our immune system is, there's like this overproduction. It's like, you're doing too much. But because of
Mm.
that, they don't know why it does that. But because it does that, you develop this autoinflammatory condition that now we have all this inflammation, because it's working. And like, part of that, one of those symptoms is this boil like abscess that shows up on my skin, because again, there's something going on internally inside of me, of like, my body's like, something's not right, I need to fix whatever's in the inside. And
Right.
now what's not right in the inside is showing up on the outside.
Right.
um Man,
That's crazy.
it's a lot to, and I feel like even the doctors though, right, because it's something that has no cure, that things are constantly changing, or you're learning more, of like, things are just being more and more developed, or like you learn something new when they learn something new, and so it's
Right.
like an ever learning condition.
Right.
But there's this song, I don't know if you've heard this song, and I got so many of them. I'm a very I'm very into songs, like, gospel songs. But I heard this song, and it like, I heard it on TikTok. I feel like that's where I find everything. But it's called God Problem. Have you heard this song?
I want to say yes.
Well, I'm just pull up. This is just a particular um, line. I'm not gonna play the whole. I'm not gonna play the song. But like going back to again, like the like how do you find that, like that hope or that keep going within the faith aspect when you are dealing with so much, not just chronic, skin condition. Like you said, there's other family and trauma and stuff going on, other illnesses. And like with me, I'm diabetic on top of it. I have PCOS on top of it, like toxic family, it just so much. So when you're dealing with that on top of, like, it's just compounded. And so like, how do you keep faith and hope when life is just lifing all the time?
Honestly, it's like for my kids. I'm doing this for my kids. I'm
Yeah, you
doing
gotta
it
show up for them.
so they could learn about it, because what if they do get it? You know what I mean? Yes, I'm going to be here to help them, but it's like they could easily go on the internet and search now. So it's like me putting this word out there and teaching, my on my platform, or even learning together on my platform. Um I do it for my kids, and everything I do is for my kids. I push through. I don't give up. Like, how many times I wanted to just, I'm deleting TikTok. I'm done. Like, but you know what? Like I said, like I already feel like I'm a burden, and if I could get paid through TikTok because sharing my story and sharing what we are so scared to share and show, I'm gonna change our lives one way or another.
Right. And just knowing that like there's so many opportunities out there now for warriors who share their story. And to be able to, whether it's awareness campaigns or whether it's different brands who are making skincare products and they want, hey, I want to send you these products, or I want to pay you to make a couple videos, that you can do that from the comfort of your home with your kids, and not and be able to do it on your own schedule, not have to be able have to clock in, clock out.
Right.
Is That's really freeing. So I agree with you.
Yeah.
So it goes. There's just some problems only God can fix. If there'll be some moments that just don't make sense. I've seen it happen time and time again. There's just some problems only God can fix. And then the next part was, there's just some battles flesh and blood can't win. There's just some moments that just don't make sense. I can't see it now, but I'm still convinced. There's just some problems only God can fix. And when I heard that, I was like, all the
That's
emotions.
that's us. I get it.
Because in the song, towards the end, he goes, you might have a disease that there's no cure for. And I was like, they made this song for me. But I get that there's just some problems, especially when you're told you have a disease that has no cure. There's just some things that only God can fix. And whether he fix it, today, tomorrow, or in this life, there's some things that only he can heal and make
True.
whole. So I thank you for coming on, telling your story. This has been so good. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that Reese connected us. Shout out Reese. I gotta definitely go follow you on TikTok. I follow you on Instagram. I gotta follow you on TikTok. But again, let the people know where they can find you and hear more of your lovely story.
I am the HS Queen 96 on Instagram and TikTok.
Perfect. All right.